I've yet to meet a small business owner that cash flow was not a problem. Most small business owners, when cash flow is a problem, it's not because of economics. It usually starts with disciplines. And what I mean by that is the first thing that I look at with a small business is I ask for their financials, and then I look at their accounts receivables, accounts payables, and we start with accounts receivables because I've yet to meet, again, another small business owner that didn't have excessive amount of monies due to them past 90 days. The reason this is important, that's where I start, because after 90 days, once someone moves into the 90 and greater days in accounts receivables, the percentage of collection goes down to 50% or less. That's the average. That's why many banks won't even count anything over 90 days, or they'll only count a percentage of anything due over 90 days because they know the the likelihood of those getting collected goes way down. Now, if you've got some over 120 days, it's less than 20%. So the first thing I want to help a business owner, and you can do this too, is evaluate, assess what's 90 days or greater, and let's get those collected. Because every day that goes by, not from 90 to 100, but every day that goes by, you're less likely to get collected the money. So start there. Second thing is we create a system. We create a system of when we invoice, how we invoice, when we follow up, and we stay consistent. Now, there's one or two consistent companies that I know of in the world, and they're usually with utilities. If you have electric or gas or anything like that, when they say the bill is due on the 21st, it's on the 21st. And whatever the policy is of that utility company, if it's the 24th, they send a notice. If it's the 27th, they put a notice on your door notifying you in 24 hours it will be shut off. I've yet to meet a utility company that didn't follow that rule and go cut off the electric or gas or whatever it is on the day they said they would. And then you've got to go through all the collection process, paying all the reinstalling fees, all that good stuff. But what I'm saying is we know that. We as consumers know they're serious about collecting their money. So take that analogy and apply it towards your small business. If you have a process and you stick to the process, you will retrain your customers, and you will also train new customers how serious you are about collecting the money that you are due. So a recent company that I've worked with, they invoice within 24 hours. Hands down, no exceptions. All the paperwork must be into the accounting office, and they have to invoice within 24 hours so that they know as soon as the job is done, they are sending out notice of money due. I see a lot of small business owners that have stacks of invoices from weeks and 2 weeks and 3 weeks, and they're complaining about cash flow. And it's like, you've got cash sitting on your desk, basically. You've got projects that you haven't invoiced. So step one is getting the invoice out quicker than you already are. The second thing is, highly recommend this. Within 24 hours, this particular company makes a phone call just to verify that they don't check their email. They don't email them. Email does nothing. That just gives your customer an opportunity to say, I never saw your invoice, or I didn't see your email. It must have gone to spam. And I really honestly, even using email trackers just to see that they opened it, that doesn't mean anything either. I want a physical phone call for this company. That's what we do. So we just verify that they got it, document who said yes, they received it, make sure it went to the right person, et cetera, et cetera. 15 days. Now, their invoices are due on receipt. So when we have invoices going out, we put a date. That's another way you can improve cash flow for your small business. Put a specific date. Don't do net 10. Don't do net 30, 45, or due on receipt. None of that works. Just like the utility company. If you want it due on the 10th, you need to put the 10th, because a lot of businesses will enter the date of when they're due. Now, This won't work at first, okay? Your current customers, you've allowed them to build their own habits of how they want to pay you. We can correct them over time. So I don't want you to think that all of a sudden my customers are all going to start paying. Some of them will as soon as they get the invoice. Others, oh, we know Michael won't call for 60 days or 90 days. We'll just pay him when we can, which is smart. Actually, they're making their money work for them. If you don't want your money fast, why do they want to let go of their money fast? That's my opinion on the solution. So you 10 days, they make a phone call because it's now past due. So 10 days after they put the due date, I'm referring back to the company I'm talking about, they make a phone call. Just make sure that, hey, it's a friendly phone call conversation. Hey, our invoices are due on the 10th of each month, and we see that this has not been paid. We just want to make sure everything's fine. You're not waiting on a PO order, anything like that. Then at 30 days, they have another process. In about 45 days, that's when things start getting a little tense in the conversations on the communication between the company and the customer. And because what we're trying to do is keep them from getting into the 60 days. Because once they get into 60 days, we're getting closer to the 90 days and your percentages start going down. We want to collect money as soon as possible. One of the things I see with small business owners is we're afraid to ask for money. Don't be afraid. You are owed this money for products or services. And if you want to think about it in a different light, the closer it gets to not being paid ever, you basically performed products or provided products, performed services, whatever you did for free because you're less likely to get paid as those days go by. So work on getting your cash flow in better time periods. We want to invoice as fast as possible and make that a habit. 2 is we want to have a system or process in place, systems and processes in place to collect that money and stick to it. This will be very beneficial as you get new clients because new clients are the ones, they will follow the rules. They want to work with you. They don't want you calling, hounding them. So if you start calling or following your process, your systems, they'll pay or they'll go somewhere else. I've had small business owners ask me about that. Well, what if they go somewhere else? And I'm like, what if they do? If they're not going to pay you, why do you want them as customers? And if they're not going to pay you in a timely fashion and you have to spend all your time chasing them down for your money that you're due, do you really want that kind of customer? I'd be finding the customers that want to pay you and continue doing business with you are the types. And we could go on and on. There's a lot more things we can talk about. If you're on YouTube here, I highly ask sincerely if you will subscribe, like, engage with us. And if you want to talk more about financials and how to improve cash flow in your small business, go to businessownershipsimplified.com. In the top right corner, there is a button. It goes directly to my personal calendar. I'd love to continue this conversation with you if you are open to it. I look forward to seeing you next time.